Hi, this is Paul Pack again for Mr. Books Club. Today, we're going to be talking again about the personal narrative. Now, in this video, we're going to explain how to write the personal narrative. Now, if you recall from a previous video, we went over all the different parts. Now, we're going to talk about how to do them, right? Now, maybe you're familiar with this. This is your outline for the personal narrative, see? We have title and hook and all the different organized parts to fill in. Now we're going to go through them step by step. I'm going to explain how to make these parts good. Okay, make them good pieces to a real story. A story about your life. Remember, the personal narrative is your life more interesting than real life. Okay? Now the first part is the title. Now often the title might be kind of difficult at first. So maybe after you're done with everything, you come back and you give me a title. Okay? The title should be creative. Okay? Don't just restate the prompt. Okay? Don't just say, this is my personal narrative or my personal narrative. Make it interesting. Make it catchy. Use interesting phrases. For example, if you recall from this one, the title was, "The first time I fell off the mountain was the second time I fell off the mountain." Something kind of catchy, different, right? That's what we want. We want a title that will get people's attention, right? Okay. The second part is the hook. Now the hook might be confusing to a lot of you. Now we're going to have to explain this very carefully. The hook is a sentence, okay? It's not just a phrase, it's a sentence. It's about your story. Now the hook has to be attention grabbing, meaning that if I read the sentence, I want to read more of your story. So sometimes the attention grabber, the hook, will begin in the middle of your story. Right? Give like a brief little summary of the main conflict, right? But don't give the whole thing. Just a taste of what's going to happen, right? Make it interesting. You can even make it ironic. Earlier I read one by one of the students, and she wrote that she saw a lot of irony in the song they were singing. The song was The Most Happiest Day. Right? She was in the choir at school, and they were singing this, and it was supposed to be the most happiest day according to the song. But she didn't feel that way because the day was going to be the most embarrassing day of her life. That is a hook. That is interesting writing. That will make others want to read it, right? Make it attention grabbing. Okay? If you're not clear, we'll go over some more other details later about this. But for now, let's move on. Now the beginning. The beginning, like a lot of things, will introduce the setting. Remember, when you write a book report in the other course, you have to be very detailed, very specific about the setting, because the setting is where everything happens, right? It's what creates the plot. So you have to create the setting. Make it picturesque. Give lots of details. It's a hot and sweltering day. The desert felt horrible upon my aching brow, right? I was so thirsty that my tongue felt like sandpaper. Really create images. Use senses. I want to taste it. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want everything in your beginning, in your sentence, in your setting, to really come alive. Show me the story. Show me where this is going to happen. That's all in the beginning, right? Okay? And in the beginning, you're going to introduce the problem, the conflict. For instance, if your pants fall off in the middle of school, set it up. Maybe there's a button loose in your pants. Maybe the zipper's broken and you have to hold it the whole day. Think about the embarrassment. Think about the tedium of doing that. Set up, what we will later talk about, is the climax of the story. Okay? So that's setting up the problem. Now the middle, the rising action, is all the things that happen during that day leading up to that most embarrassing point. Okay? Or whatever the topic might be. Okay? In this case, it might be the most embarrassing day, right? In the middle, you bring up ideas actions, events. Maybe you meet other friends. Maybe you have problems or other situations. This is all rising action. It leads to the climax. Then, when all of that is nice and great and everything is really popping and I feel everything and the senses are running out of my brain and electricity is shooting through my eyes, you really give it to me, okay? You really give the reader, the climax. Okay? The climax is the most exciting part of the story. It's the pinnacle, right? This is the biggest thing that happens. Really punch it. Right? Really make it exciting or interesting. If it's supposed to be the most embarrassing day of your life, and this is where all that embarrassment comes out, right? What happens? Does your pants fall off in front of everybody? Does, I don't know, when you're singing, do you burp or fart? Anything. Just make it fun. Make it feel exciting, right? Give lots of descriptions, lots of details. And at the end, after everything is so great, you bring everyone down, you resolve the solution, maybe you even give me a lesson you've learned through all of this, okay? Always be aware of these organized parts, though, okay? There's a place for everything. And as you're writing, make sure your grammar is good. Remember that you can write in the first person narrative, right? That means you can use I. You can use me, you can use we. Those sorts of things are okay. Those pronouns are fine. You can even use past tense in the personal narrative. So that should make writing much more easy and enjoyable. Remember metaphors, techniques, sensory details, all of those sorts of things. And then, like I said, maybe you had to go through all of this first and then go back to making a title or a hook. Okay? Sometimes saving it for the end is better. But just remember, make everything catchy, interesting. Right? Tell me a good story. Thanks very much.